Hey guys, welcome back. This is Real Estate Uncensored. We have Mr. Nick Sack as my co-host, my ride or die homie with us. We have Mr. Curtis Fenn from Redx. We're going to get deep into what Redx is doing. We got some incredible opportunities that they are presenting, to some stuff that's even in the works behind the scenes we can't talk about yet, but we're going to allude to some of the really cool stuff that they're putting out there.
Breaking news.
Breaking news is exactly the way we're going to frame that. We're going to talk about social media prospecting. We're going to talk about their new UI. That means their interface for the consumers, which I'm currently using right now. I love it. I want to hear more about it. And we're going to get into a lot more topics. But before we get over to Curtis and we really dive in deep into the weeds of, calling machines, prospecting, data, all that good stuff. Mr. Nick Sackis, how are you, brother?
I'm doing fantastic. I got a haircut, so I feel good.
We look sexy.
When you look good, you feel good, right?
Yes.
I got a fresh t-shirt on. I mean, yeah, it's like, I don't know, like I'm ready to just conquer the world.
First time in the month, he has a fresh t-shirt on.
Fresh t-shirt, yeah.
Well, I'm glad to hear you're looking good and smelling good. Mr. Curtis, how are you, brother? Good. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me again. Always love coming on and trying to stir the pot a little bit.
Oh, dude, you more than stir. You make the pot, then you cook in the pot, and then we eat from what you cook. This is going to be an amazing show. Nick, let's jump off with a question from you. What's a question that's burning in your brain that Curtis can answer and really fulfill a lot of people's dreams and hopes and desires in life?
I'm gonna put him on the spot.
Good,
but
please.
Are agents still cold calling in 2023?
When you say still, I would say most agents are getting back to cold calling. I think we went through this so many years of prosperity and multiple offers, and the challenge was finding inventory, and agents were burned out with multiple offers. Well, a lot of people went from burnt out to broke real suddenly, last summer, with interest rates and a lot of markets kind of halting because nobody has learned how to hunt in the last 5 years. And so what we're seeing is that people are coming back to prospecting a lot more than still prospecting. And that's evident even by us where we always have returning customers, a couple hundred people every month that are coming back to the service, but that's gone up in percentage a lot. People going, well, I took a 3-year hiatus, but here I am because I don't have any other way to go and get inventory. So the answer is yes, people are cold calling, still working. And not to assume too much in your question, but the other thing is, yes, people are habits in phone is different than it used to be. Even COVID made us more introverted, and numbers showing up as spam on phones and all of that. Despite all of that, we have an increase in connections that we've never seen before. So despite people not answering the phone as much, despite spam and all these things, we are seeing higher connection rates in many markets than we've seen in a long time.
When you say higher connection rates, are we talking about higher connection rates from agent to consumer? Is that what you're referring to, I'm assuming?
Yeah. Yep. Connecting with the homeowner. And we talked about this pre-show, Greg, where there's some limitations with if their numbers showing up as spam and people, aside from some of those things, and there's some ways to mitigate that and getting different phone numbers and prospecting solutions that we obviously help agents do. But if you're calling from a registered whitelisted phone number, your connection rates are going to be a higher percentage of the homeowners you're trying to get in touch with than it was 3 years ago.
Yeah, I've been seeing that a lot as well. And I know that you guys got some incredibly cool stuff in the skunk works on the back end that's going to help mitigate that, which is so cool, by the way. And it's going to help people be more excited to go out there and do the calls, because they're not going to see the rejection that a lot of people are seeing right now. And I think you guys are so forward thinking in regards to that you're like, oh my gosh, this is a problem. Let's solve it. We have an issue. Deal with it. Right. Speaking of our problem, Gene Volpe's here.
Well, that's good. And that's good. Speaking of issues, I got issues with you, Greg McDaniel.
What?
Nah, nothing.
Hey, at least I made the show this week, right?
And I feel like every week it starts 5 minutes earlier. Like it was 1 o'clock last week. Now it's 12:45.
It has been. It has.
What are we doing?
That was my bad, Gene. That was my bad.
Curtis, I'll allow it. Good in your face again, my man.
Gene has spoken. It is allowed. Okay. Gene, welcome to the show. We're talking about kind of some of the stuff like social media prospecting, kind of how they're going to blend together some of what Curtis and Redx are doing behind the scenes and their skunk works in regards to, like you heard a second ago, about putting you onto a white list so you're not coming across as spam anymore, so you can get more the high level numbers that you want and need to be talking to. What's a question that you may have for Curtis, and kind of get this thing rocking and rolling? I'm writing down a list of my questions over here. So throw something at him.
That
Let's see
means he doesn't have one yet, Gene. He doesn't have a question yet. So.
Yes, I
Curtis
do.
got me, dude. Listen, I think it's you know I don't have a question yet because I'm just I'm sitting back listening. I know I will have some stuff. I got just because I jumped in late, I didn't hear about this. When you said, what did you call it? Skunk Works?
Skunk Works.
That's
Yeah,
Greg's word. But
Yeah.
it's common. They'll say Skunk Works, like a Skunk Works team is kind of your working on the cool, innovative stuff at a tech company. So he's not wrong.
It kind of sounds like yakety schmackety, if I'm being honest.
Oh, yakety smack yourself. Okay.
We only do good stuff. None of the Skunk Works stuff. That's like poor beta products.
It's a Gregism.
Hey, well, we do have a tic-tac-toe for every time I screw up on something. So maybe we'll make a skunk works in there or yakety schmackety. So I want to talk about your new user interface.
Okay.
You guys dramatically shifted it around, and there's some different points in there that I find very, very interesting. One of them is, I think, market data or market analysis in there. So you can go in there and look at the history of what the market's doing. And so you can get a deeper insight into kind of what that exact property has to offer. Walk me through a little bit through the process when you guys were building the UI of kind of how'd you guys come up with this, and where do the ideas come from? Were they from the users? Was it just kind of internal? How'd that work out?
Yeah. So let me give you some good history. I think forever the agents who were prospecting were agents who were involved in a coaching program. I'm going way back, right? I mean, in 2003, 2004, there were very few people prospecting, and they would laugh at us. They go, expireds. Why would I ever work expireds? Or why would I ever call a FSBO? Well, then the recession happened. What happened is everybody who didn't prospect got out of the industry, and everybody who was prospecting took more market share. And then as the industry has grown and more agents have come in, they look around and they look at the top prospecting agents and they see that they're working expireds and FSBOs and calling the pre-foreclosures and doing circle prospecting. So it's become much more, I wouldn't say mainstream, but I would say much more common practice. As that's happened, people jump into prospecting with very little coaching, training. They don't understand the importance of having a script. They just don't understand as much. They're not as prepared. And Greg, that when you jump on a call, sometimes you're going to get your butt kicked when you call an expired listing. And if you're not prepared for that, people are going to bounce out of, they're going to give up on prospecting entirely. And so as we've seen this transition with real estate agents, we say, okay, we don't need to just facilitate the connection anymore. We need to facilitate the conversation. We need to help agents understand what to say and how to become the expert in who they're talking to. And so as we looked at that, we started to add things into our platform that allowed them to facilitate the conversation. And we call them insights. And so we give insights into the homeowner. There's some demographic information, their level of equity, how much equity they might have in the home, what their income might be. We give a whole bunch of insights on the property itself, which on expireds, usually you're going to see all of that in the MLS, all of those property details. But we've added that to all of them. So even a FSBO or a geo lead, when you're circle prospecting, we'll give you all the information on the property, the square footage in the bedrooms, baths, kind of the standard stuff. But then we get into even more stuff. Do they have a pool? Do they have, what kind of HVAC or heating and cooling systems do they have? Kind of all of the information about the property. We do lifestyle insights. So you would tell people if they have this gets into some creepy stuff, and so agents need to be careful with how they use this. But
we love creepy.
Yeah, tell them if they have a dog or a cat, or if they're into horses, or if they drive an SUV, if they invest in real estate. Some of their lifestyle psychographics around the homeowner, and all of it is just meant to help you facilitate the conversation. Might allow you to create some rapport. And again, being careful with that. You don't want to call somebody and say, "Hey, I see here you drive a truck and you're into golf." Like that's
Yeah.
it's not going to get you the listing. But understanding a little bit about the person you're talking to and getting you insight. The most important is what you mentioned, is that market insights, which gives you all of the information. It's updated every 7 days based on the zip code of the property that you're trying to get in touch with. And it will give you all the information about what's going on in the market and days on market and how many people are price decreases and all kinds of information there. So again, that you can speak from a position of professional and expertise.
Yeah, it is really the honest truth on that one, guys and gals. With the new data, the new interface that they have, that data can allow you to use the Ford script: family, occupation, recreation, and dreams very efficiently. Now, that doesn't have to go in that order, go in any order that you want. But if I know that he has a truck, and I'll be like, you know what? I just trust guys who drive Jeeps. You know, I have a Jeep, and anyone who drives it. Do you drive a Jeep, by the way? Yeah, I do. I knew it. We're best friends. And you can get off and running like that, as long as you have a sense of humor with this. But knowing the data, say, you know, I'm looking at my MLS right here, my multiple listing service, and I see that there's 19 homes pending. There's 22 available, which means the market is extremely active. We're seeing homes sell on average 1.3% over the list. Have you ever thought about maybe taking advantage of these incredible market rates right now and just seeing where would you guys go if you guys were to sell? You give them stats, give them information, you know, set the hook, see if they run with it.
Well, and it's important right now because I was even just at a conference yesterday down in Vegas, and it's crazy talking to people. Half the people are going, "Oh man, my market's still hot. I sell multiple offers," and other people are like, "I might get another job because I'm dying." Right.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're only looking at national news to understand what's happening in the real estate market, you might sound like an idiot. Like you might be wrong.
True.
Because there's a lot going on, and so getting into the micro of what's happening in my market, my city, my zip code, that matters a lot to helping. It's not just about the conversation. That's going to help you price the homes better. It's going to help you market it better, to understand what's happening. And when you're calling, we call a lot of our leads second to list, first to sell leads, right?
Okay.
Right. So if you're calling a second to list, first to sell lead, you better get it right, because it's not just price, but it's also how do you market? What do you talk about? How do you write a description the right way to get people to look at the property and view the property? And a lot of those insights can help with all of those things. So facilitates the conversation, but it's going to help you in the long run with marketing and selling the property.
But this is like giving the keys to a Ferrari to a toddler. If you don't know how to use it, you're not going to use it, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, with Redx, you guys have incredible, you know, support staff. Every time I call in, you guys, I'm like the second person or the first person. Your staff picks up, they answer my question, I'm out the door. But you also have the role plays as well still, right?
Yes.
So you walk people through that, because that is one of the things I think is the most incredibly most powerful things I've ever seen a company of your stature do. So tell people what exactly that is when they sign up with Redx.
Yeah. So we have people need to practice to cold call, and they need to practice to win. And sometimes that's frustrating when you first start calling an expired listing or calling around and you deal with some rejection and you deal with tough people. So we built a role play system. It's available. There's no extra charge to our customers. You get a secret number when you sign up. You call that number and it kind of walks you through it. You call it and it'll say, what lead type do you want to practice? Say expired. It'll say, how difficult do you want the role play to be? You can choose, you know, easy, medium, or hard. And essentially that is how many objections you're going to receive on the role play. Well, then it gives some instructions. Your phone actually ring. You just stay on the phone, but they'll hear it ring, and somebody on my staff will answer as if they are a homeowner of that lead type. And so they'll answer hello. They'll stay in character. Even if you try to break character, they'll be like, I don't understand what you're talking about. They'll stay in character the whole time. At the end of the call, then you'll hit a button on your phone. It will send you the recording of your role play. That way you can, you know, if you have a coach or an accountability partner, you can have them. It's even good for you to listen to go, okay, how would I do that differently? So it's just about practicing. And so when you call, you can do 3 role plays, and then you have to get back in the queue to do it again. But you can do that as much as you want. We've had customers terrified of calling, so they've used the role play system every day for 2 weeks, and they go, okay, now I'm ready. I'm going to call a real expired listing.
Yeah.
And they do that, but it gives you confidence. And not to give anything away, but every role play ends with you setting the appointment, because you don't practice to lose, you practice to win. And so we'll throw some objections out there, but ultimately you're going to see what it's like to get the appointment and to set something up and to create a good connection, so that in your mind, that's what you've practiced. So when you get on the phone, you're more likely to succeed.
See, the thing I like about that the most, and Gene, you're being silent, which really creeps me out, is the fact that positive reinforcement of an endeavor that someone is terrified of will build up their ability to feel confident in their own skills, in their own body, in their own skin, in their own voice. A lot of the times people, like in role play situations, they like to beat the person down who's trying to do the role play so they feel better about themselves. When in reality, you guys are taking the high road on this, which I love. And you allow people to have that win, that success. Now, are they going to be perfect? No, none of us are perfect, but you're going to get better every single time you do it. You listen, you learn, you take notes, you listen, you learn, you repeat, you do it. And, repetition of going out there. Like they always say, if you get hit, it's not the amount of times you get hit, it's the amount of times you get back up. And that's what I love about that program. Are you seeing a lot of success with agents going out there and touting to the fact like, hey, look, I role played with Redx for, like you said, 2 weeks, and I went out there and I got a listing appointment. I got a listing, and I picked up a buyer, and then my business started just snowballing. And it's because I had the confidence, and you guys provide the confidence that agents desperately desire that other people just shun because it doesn't make any money.
Right. Yep.
And I freaking hate that.
For us, I mean, look, there's no secret. The ulterior motive for me is we don't have contracts. We don't have, there's a lot of churn and in our industry.
Yeah.
I need people to get listings and get commissions. Like I need my customers to get listings and get commissions so that they stay customers. And so, we're a for-profit business, but our success is truly tied to the success of the agents, and their ability to set appointments and to get listings.
Yeah. And you guys are doing a phenomenal job at it. Gene, when it comes to kind of your marketing side of the business, and then I want to jump in because I know, Curtis, you're on a tight timeline here, and I want to be very courteous of your time. No pun intended. When it comes to social media, how it can tie in to doing, calls and stuff like that. Let's say Redx, Nick is a customer of Redx. He's dialing. He did his role plays. He's a new agent. He feels comfortable. He goes out there, and all of a sudden, he has a listing appointment. How would you? What? How would you help him market that out there? Like, hey guys, I just picked up a new listing. Go.
Well, I would say video, right? So first of all, let me say, how dare you, Curtis, have a for-profit company? Let's just start there.
How dare you?
Dare you?
Oh my gosh.
And I do love that whole. These guys will tell you, and I think you probably know, Curtis. We've been on enough shows together. Yeah. You know how much I love personally to cold call.
Yeah.
I'd rather go get a colonoscopy, but I love.
I can set you up with one.
Yeah, but listen, I got a doctor in the house. She's always pushing me in that direction, so I don't need any more help. Thank you very much. No, but I think that cold call role play is amazing, right? Like that's just something that it's sort of like everything else we talk about in marketing, especially video. People are uncomfortable doing video, so what do? You get reps in, right? It's like muscle memory. So what do? You pick up the phone, and eventually the answers to some of these objections come naturally. And Greg, look. We could skin that cat 30 different ways, right? Like I would just say to folks, hey, you get on video and tell people about what you're doing. And I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm in sales. We role play, we do scripts. This one was successful. Reach out to me to talk to you about why I thought this call was successful. I mean, there's 50 ways we could go that. It depends on like the opportunity, right? But I don't necessarily think I would utilize a win for a sale to market. I would wait to get that sale and then market the property. Does that make sense?
Okay.
I would, if I could jump in, I think there's one thing about marketing your personal brand, and I think there is value in letting people know that you're educated and you do, do these things. But I think there's more power when you get a listing. I mean, that's part of our entire platform is when you get that listing, not just a successful appointment, but you get the listing, then you go put that address in our system and you pull the 1,000 properties around it.
Mm-hmm.
And you either call them or you use our ad builder tool where you upload that to Facebook and Instagram, and you market the 1,000 people around that property and say, we just listed a house in this city. And with video that Gene is talking about, you make a video about the listing you just took, maybe even like walk through and do a quick tour of the listing. Because chances are a lot of the direct neighbors around that will see that ad. You don't even need to do ad spend on that. You just boost it for real cheap. For $3 a day, you could have 3,000 people see that video.
Heck yes. Oh, by the way, selfless plug for Redx, guys. I gotta show you this. This is something that they sent me. This is the Vlog 1. This is a vlogging tool. So it comes with a stand. I can detach this top and just hold this as a handhold. I have a shotgun mic. I have a light. I have a camera holder here. It has levels on it, so it comes in really clear. So if you guys really want to get, kick butt and take names, this thing is something you really need to take a look at. It is an amazing vlogging opportunity for getting those new listings and then posting them on social media. Sorry, I had to tell people I'm so impressed with this thing. It is unreal how cool this thing is.
Curtis, I'll give you my address after the show so you can send it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We got to get that was a Christmas present. So I mean, that's got to come around.
But they can go buy it themselves. It's like $120, $150. It's not a whole heck of a lot of money, but it makes a world of difference in shooting.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to do that, take a look at the Vlog 1. It's an amazing tool that you can put into your business at almost low cost.
Vlog, not flog, right?
Vlog with a V. Yes.
Oh, V. Okay.
Come on, dude.
I do suggest you search for Flog 1. You will actually.
I think everybody should find out what flog1.com is.
That just sounds like a German something.
Maybe not
you
on
don't
a
know
work
about.
network, but.
So Curtis, let me ask you a question. Where do you think cold calling is headed? Do you see it going by the wayside? Is there more stringent time frames that people need to be out there calling mornings and evenings? Give me your thoughts. What are you guys seeing on the numbers? You guys really crunch a lot of numbers over there.
Yeah. So we still every statistic we have is based on calling each number 3 times, an AM, a PM, and a weekend. And I think a lot of agents they haven't been willing to do that. Now agents are going, tell me how to maximize. I want to get in touch with as many people as possible. And we said, well, an AM, PM, and a Saturday call. But more importantly than any of that, I think if you analyze too much, you come up with excuses not to just pick up the phone and make a call. And so if you've got half hour in the middle of the day and that's the half hour you do it, a lot of people aren't home and you're not going to have a high connection rate, but you'll connect with people anyway. Right.
Yeah.
And the more conversations we have in this business, the more people you add to your sphere of influence, or your newsletter, and the more people that you will be forefront of mind when they're ready to do a real estate transaction. And that is the name of the game. It's conversations and relationships. And so cold calling is about getting appointments, but it's also about just adding people to your sphere of influence. But if I could take your question in a different direction with where is cold calling headed, I would say cold calling is getting tougher because of regulations, because of do not call, because of all the things that are happening. And so where it's headed is it now has to be part of an overall strategy rather than a siloed business practice that you do to get appointments. What I mean by that is as soon as you have Gene teach you how to make good videos and post them online, then you need to target those videos to the expired listings, because then when you call them, there's familiarity. They already know who you are and what you're about because they've seen it, even if it's subconsciously. Like we have a billboard here, and it's been up for, I don't know, 8 years or something. And people will still say, hey, where do you work? And I'll say Redx. And then I'll get a text the day later. They'll go, hey, I saw your billboard. And they've probably driven by that billboard 1,000 times. But until until we had this human interaction, they never noticed it. And sometimes they'll say, "Oh, I've heard of Redx and I don't know where." And that's how marketing is going. And so the more exposure you can have with video and your face and your name on social media platforms where people are scrolling, then when you do have that call, it's less of a cold call and it's more of a warm call. And I think, to answer your question of where is cold calling headed, I think you have to incorporate more things to get the most potential out of your calls that you can get, right? You could still get success just by cold calling and never doing social media. But the force multiplier of doing social media and cold calling is where things are headed.
I guess that leads us into our next question, is kind of what you guys are doing with social media and prospecting, that kind of blend that we spoke about pre-show. Walk us through that a little bit. What are you guys doing?
Well, there's social media really, and Gene, jump in and correct me, right? This is your forte too. So,
Yep.
but we see agents really need to be doing there's kind of two strategies with social media. There's your organic brand reputation strategy, and then your paid strategy. And I just think Facebook, Instagram, all the social media platforms are making it harder and harder, and it's getting more and more expensive to do ad campaigns. And so you can just pay an agency to do ads for you from some generic website, or very easily you could do a little bit that goes a long way, which is take the data you're getting from Redx and create a custom audience inside of Facebook or Instagram or wherever, and then target your content to those people, because it accomplishes exactly what we just talked about. You want those people to see you and recognize your name and your face before you make the call, or you want them to recognize, oh, that's the guy who called me yesterday, because it creates a reputation. We just had an agent the other day from an open house say, "Oh, you don't know me, but I know you from your videos." Well, that's because she uploaded a list of people in the neighborhood that she knew she was doing an open house in, and she targeted them with videos, for the entire 10 days prior to the open house. So when people came in, they felt like they knew her.
Awesome.
And so our tools then are twofold. On the paid side, it's very inexpensive. It's a custom audience tool where you can select the leads that you want to target on Facebook and Instagram. On the organic side, we have full video production and social management where we do the posting for people, where we edit the videos. We have an app where they record the videos, and then we do all the editing and copywriting and everything to make it a professionally produced video and post that for people.
Okay. So it sounds like what you're doing is you're putting together kind of a all-in-one, right? There's really no muss, no fuss.
Yeah. Yes. And it's everything we do is a done with you solution. We don't have any, remember the old rotisserie chicken, the set it and forget it?
Ron Popeil.
Ron Popeil, there you go.
We don't do any of that, right? Because this is, I can't build a reputation for you, Greg.
Right.
Like I can't speak and then have you have a reputation built.
Right.
They have to see you. They have to hear you. They have to get to know you. And so everything we do is a done with you solution. Same with cold calling. We do a lot of the work to find the phone numbers, do a lot of work to empower an agent with scripts and tools and facilitate the conversation. But if you don't pick up the phone, it doesn't work. And same with our social media tools. We can do all that, but if you don't produce a video, even the raw video that we're going to take and turn into something, then it's just not going to work. And I would say if our solutions are, again, force multipliers to their overall strategy. So if they're not committed to get on and do additional posting on social media, don't pay us to do 8 videos a month for you. Because if that's all you're going to do, you're paying way too much for really nice videos. Like if you're not doing all the other things that make your brand, you build your brand on social media. So,
the funny thing about social media, Nick, I want you and Gene to jump in on this. I'm not a proficient expert on this at all, as you guys all know. I dabble, but I'm not a practitioner on it. If someone was to start off with Redx, and I highly recommend that you do. And by the way, guys, I don't get paid by Redx, to promote them. I just do it because I love them, and I think they're absolutely insanely awesome. If someone was to start off today, And Curtis, I want to get your thoughts. I'm going to go to Nick and I'm going to go to Gene. What are the first 3 things that you would recommend them doing to get over the fear of that thing called a phone?
I would not get expired listings. They're your
Easy. There
highest
you go.
return, right? I mean, they're the closest to a transaction. A FSBO
Sure.
expired. The reason why they're hot leads is they are bottom of the funnel. They want to transact.
Mhm.
That also means there's higher competition, and especially expireds. They've been trying to sell it unsuccessfully.
Right.
So they're often mad at real estate agents. They're mad at the market. You got to deal with that. If I were first starting out, and if I had call reluctance, if I was nervous, I would start with a lead type like vacant rental properties.
Yes.
You're calling somebody who is managing a property and they need it filled. And the conversation would be this: is it still for rent? Yeah, it's still for rent. Great. If I could show you how to put more money in your pocket by selling the property versus you continuing to rent it out yourself, is that something you'd be interested in? I mean, it's that simple. And they're not emotionally vested like an expired. It's a business conversation. It's like more money. Yeah, that's why I have a rental property. Let's talk about more money. So it's an easier conversation. It's an underutilized. I don't know why more people don't call these. They hear the word rentals and they go, I don't want to deal with rentals. Yeah, well, it's a listing opportunity. That's where I would start. And then beyond that, I would do the geo leads, which is just geographic farming. That's an easy conversation. I would call around recently listed or just sold properties. I would upload all of that data into Facebook and Instagram, and I would, for a very modest budget, low budget, I would boost your content, your videos to that audience. Because it's not about lead gen at that point. That's why it's not a $1,500 or $2,000 a month ad spend commitment. It's $50 a month, and you can boost all of that content because your goal is just to have them see your face.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think that's a wonderful idea. One of the things that I do, and I've been when I had the same conversation in my head for the for rent by owners option that you guys have. I was talking with one of your staff members a while back, and like, hey, can you start calling these and just kind of wrap your head around those? I'm like, why in the heck am I going to call it for rent by owner? Like, what do I have to offer?
Yeah.
Then the epiphany took place, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like the opportunity here is threefold, right? So I can help them rent the property. Now you're going to make probably $2 doing that, but you build a relationship, right? Number two, if they got it rented, you offer if you can help them to sell it. If they're looking to get $100, and if you take your $6, your commission, but you still get their $100, but you get professionally marketed, would that offend them? No. Then if they don't want to sell it, then say, hey, look, third option. Hey, have you ever thought about, buying some more properties, investment properties, put it in your portfolio? So for rent by owners, ladies and gentlemen, is my absolute hands down favorite opportunity and vertical to call on, because you can ask 3 different questions. Can I help you rent it? Do you want to sell it? Can I help you buy additional properties? And then who do you know in your sphere that I should be speaking to right now that I can help either buy investment or sell investments? 4 conversations, 1 phone call, put them on the follow-up list, and then like Curtis was saying, put them into the boost, make a video about your phone calls and the people you talk to. Say, hey, look, I talked to 7 different investors today. They're all looking for different types of product. If you guys are thinking about buying or selling, give me a call, boost that out to IG and Facebook, get them to inbound to you to a landing page or to your cell phone number or something like that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you just created your own MLS. You are an ecosystem. You're your own entity floating around the real estate realm. And you can then dominate, because all the other agents are going to come to you going, how do you have all these different investment opportunities? Well, I'm like, well, because I'm just that damn good. So do you have a buyer that wants to buy something, or a seller wants to sell something? Because I'm the dealer. Let's go. Let's make it happen. I love that. I really love that. Also, the circle prospecting, one of the things that I've done is that I was doing for sale by owners. I mean, not for sale by owners, excuse me. Just sold, just listed. The one thing that I found was that the most powerful thing with doing circle prospecting is I would go into my MLS and I would find a pending property, the shortest amount of days on market at the highest price point in the area you want to call in, because now you're calling around with information that nobody has. Zillow, Redfin, nobody has the pending information. They don't know the stats. So you call the listing agent, you say, hey, Gene, your property at 456 Maple just went pending in 3 days. Congratulations, brother. Hey, man, out of curiosity, how many offers did you get on that? Well, Greg, thanks for asking. We got 4 offers. Oh, man. So you got one under contract. Do you have anything in backup right now? No, nothing in backup. Okay. Well, hey, man, congrats. Now, load your dialer with that information. Now you call around the neighbors. Hey, guys, I just want to know, let you know that 456 Maple just went pending. There were actually 4 offers on the property, which means 3 families are crying in their soup right now. Have you ever thought about maybe selling because there are active buyers with cash in their pocket? Now you bring the value.
Oh,
Zing.
damn it. Why didn't I have you highlighted for that?
Because you screwed up.
That was a McDaniel mic drop.
Just one of those things I came up with. And I use Redx for it because their data is that freaking good. It is that simple to do, guys and gals. Just think outside the box. The tool is there, right? The actual tools between your
I was just going to say, you had to think. You thought about that and put it into practice. Yeah.
Well, because it's red water versus blue water hunting. I wanted to go into blue water. I wanted to go where nobody else is going. Like the Enterprise spaceship going into the whatever the saying is. I don't know, out in the ever blue niche whatever.
Yeah.
Moving forward off of that. Okay. That was not a mic drop. Gene, say something. Stop creeping me out.
I got nothing.
What?
I got nothing. I know. I got one.
People.
Wait, I got something for you. For rent by owner is also known as a furbo.
Furbos.
Furbo. Like Verbo.
That's all I got. That's all I'm bringing today.
Oh my God.
We just need to do another show where Gene and I can just talk about video and social media.
Please, we'll get you booked. Let's go. Nick and I will just sit in the background. Nick, let's do some final thoughts. I know Curtis, we're run up on a timeline for him. We've been doing this for almost 40 minutes. Nick, give us some final thoughts real quick.
My final thought will circle back to the beginning of the show when I asked Curtis, are people still cold calling? And I kind of set him up for the softball because I figured he answered exactly the way that I wanted him to, which is been my philosophy for the past year or so as well with marketing, which is old school is new school. Okay. So like what I'm seeing a resurgence on the marketing side, not just from the cold calling, like he was saying, which makes perfect sense. He's got all the data. He understands that. He's been through the recession before. Everybody on the show was here 05, 6, 7, 8. So we know this cycle. For me, I saw the resurgence in the direct mail side of things. Yeah. So everybody left to go to social media. Everybody pretty much, direct mail was just whatever. Now in the past 12 to 18 months, there's been a huge resurgence, tons of case studies, my clients, other clients that I know, friends of friends that are having a lot of success with direct snail mail, whether it's yellow letter mail, consistent postcards to consistent people. Like there's different strategies, but we're seeing that. So the old school, new school. What I love about what Curtis said, and this is the first time we've been on a call together, is the way that he has, I don't want to say chase because chase isn't a good word, the evolution of the Redx product. Okay. So he said one thing early on that was not creating a silo for your business. And I love that because you could be an agent in 2005, 6, 7, 8, and all you did was cold call and you could have a successful business. And that is what it is. I'm a cold caller. I'm a prospector. I go to Tom Ferry's seminars and that's all I do. I don't want to hear anything else because that's how I'm successful, right? Not me personally, but just in general. That was a persona that real estate agents had for a long time. The evolution of business, Redx recognized it, whether it was Curtis's direct idea or not. But what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing on this call is Redx is not just a cold calling company, right? Redx is a prospecting company. And depending on what bucket you want to put your prospecting toe into, whether it's actually picking up the phone and calling people, whether it's actually running paid advertising, whether it's actually having a community of editors who are actually editing your stuff in the background to make you look good, to build your brand, Redx has got you covered. So if you were looking for a prospecting chair to sit down on with 4 legs, I would probably call Redx, right? I mean, I think you guys have it covered. So that's my takeaway from the call. I love everything that you guys are doing. And secondly, I don't know how many people are going to listen all the way through this call, But if you are listening to this call at minute 40 or whatever we're on right now, and you are a broker or a team leader and you have agents underneath you, and you do not take advantage of RedX cold call training and get all of your people to bother every RedX employee to train them on how to cold call, you're out of your mind. If I was recruiting a team right now, I would sign up for RedX, and this might actually happen, like for real. I now have a training department that I don't have to worry about for my brokerage or as a team leader. All I got to do is sign up for RedX, and then every one of my team members, I want to hear the call recordings that you did that week with RedX for me, for our own training purposes in-house. And all I did was have a RedX subscription.
The other thing is when they are prospecting, they can choose to keep a recording of the call.
I love it, dude. I absolutely love that.
They can send live calls to their broker too.
That has got to be an underutilized, I guarantee you, and me from a media buyer, I'm putting my marketing cap on. Yep. If I was consulting RedX as how do I grow your company, I would target just brokers and team leaders and tell them about your cold call training. And I guarantee you'd get a lift in users just from that one thing that probably 90% of people have no idea about. Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's
my question was, do you sell that independently of all the other services?
I don't. I should. It's labor intensive. I mean, I got live people that are answering, and
it's crazy, dude. I just want one of those floggers, and I'll help you promote it.
I swear to God, I'm going to kick you off the show. You know what? The call recording thing that Curtis brought up, we brushed over that really, really quickly, but that's something that's incredibly powerful. I do that when I have a good call. I will then go in, I'll put my notes in, but I'll also hit, save. So now it's attached to that file. So when I have a callback, I can go back and listen to my conversation that I had directly with that individual. So it's not like, oh gosh, what the heck did we talk about? It's like, oh no, that's exactly the tonality, the delivery, the time frame, their words. It is an invaluable opportunity for you guys to go out and really start hitting that, save button, get those recordings into that file so that you have a living entity in regards to, your prospecting and kind of where these people's mindsets are. And how
I got one more trinket to add on.
Go.
Whoa.
Ooh, a trinket.
So yeah, a little.
It's got to be my last one though.
Last one. Okay.
We got to roll.
So if you are running an ad, so we're using RedX, we've established for sale by owners or expired listings, they have this amazing ad product. We can upload a list. What kind of ad do you run to these people? I'll tell you from somebody who's run $5 million+ in Facebook advertising, one of the best ads that you can possibly do, and this is e-commerce, this is Facebook, whatever, is a before and after, or in this case, I would say a case study. So if you're an agent and you have RedX and you've had a successful, this is kind of an asterisk, you could maybe make this up if you want to play with it a little bit, but if you've helped somebody who is expired go from expired to sold and whatever it was, and you can create a really nice case study video highlighting the fact that you were the person who came in. Here's Bob and Sue. They were on the market. Last realtor, they sucked. I came in. I implemented my 21-point system, got them sold in 7 days. A really nice 90-second case study video, and you run that video to that audience. Gold. Check mark.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Love that. I should have highlighted you on that one. Damn it.
No, now we're shit.
You're really slacking. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Curtis, give us some final thoughts real quick.
Look, it's a weird market, and everybody is either trying to capitalize on that by creating fear, or they're trying to pretend it's not happening. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't matter. I believe that foundationally, if you have good strategies in your business to get listings, there's still going to be 5 million homes to sell this year.
Yeah.
And how big of a piece of pie do you want to take from that?
3 million.
And yeah, I mean, you got to. So the deals are out there, and you got to figure out the ways to go after them.
Good. I love it, guys. This is Curtis with RedX. Well, I'm not Curtis. I'm Greg. But go hit up RedX. Guys, I've negotiated a deal with RedX. If you use my name, Greg McDaniel, they are going to waive your $150 sign-up fee. It's gone. You don't have to pay it. I'm going to take the hit for you on this one. So go in there, Use my name, Greg McDaniel, and you guys will waive the $150 sign-up fee. Get started today. Start investing into your future. Get your training in. Get some recordings back to you. See how you sound. Run it past a colleague. Run it past your coach. Run it past your team leader, your broker, whoever. Get better. This is part of what you're going to pay for with Redx. I highly recommend them. Gene.
Yep.
Give me a color on the bow on the show, please.
Red. Come on.
I was
Red
just
it is.
Damn, is there any other color?
Right, come on.
I got to go double red.
Oh, okay, red ×2 for Nick. Curtis, what's the color on the bow for the show for you, my friend?
Red X, Greg. It's gonna be red.
A multiple of red.
I don't know if that's ever happened.
It's
don't know.
never happened. It's never happened. All right, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Reach out to Curtis over at Red X and his staff. You will be pleasantly surprised on how wonderful they are. Reach out to Mr. Nick Sakis, Mr. Gene Volpe. If you guys want marketing advice from gurus over there, hit me up on Instagram and Facebook. Follow me there, Greg McDaniel, REU, on all the different platforms. Watch me walk my dog. Watch me do some cold calls using the said program, RedX. And then always tune in and leave us a comment, a thought, theory, a concern on our podcast. So, guys, the color on the bow on the show is going to be red ×2, then RedX ×3 for this one. Guys and gals, we cannot do the show without you. We love you to pieces. You are absolutely invaluable in our lives. Thank you for being a part of our world. We love you. If we can support you in any way, shape, or form, go ahead and give Matt a call on his cell phone. He really misses you guys, and he would love to hear from you at 3:30 in the morning. All right, guys. Until next time, peace out, ninjas. We gone.